Good day and welcome back to Cheryl's Kitchen. I'm Charlie Niner, the host, writer, and producer. My subjects are often dark and involve violence, so viewer and listener discretion is advised. So today, because Russia is really in the headlines these days, I'd like to have a look at Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov. You historians out there will know who I'm talking about, but the majority of people won't. Many of us know him as Lenin, or the Man of Iron. Not Iron Man, the Man of Iron. So what do we really know of Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, or Lenin? Well, first, he was the first head of Soviet Russia from 1917 to 1922. He was the first head of the Soviet Union from 1922 to 24. He was the leader of the Russian Revolution in October 1917, also known as Red October. He died in January 1924 in poor health at the age of 53, and that Stalin ascended to the leadership of the Soviet Union. You don't become a revolutionary leader overnight. The Man of Iron led quite a life. He was born in April 1870 to upper middle class parents, and that's holds something in common. A lot of revolutionary leaders are born to upper middle class people, and in a later episode I'll give you my reasons why I think this is. His brother Alexander was executed in 1887. He had participated in a plot to assassinate Alexander III of Russia. And as another comment, this is one of the greatest ways to make radicals of those people that you execute, or the families. The families will become radicals. And we've seen this over and over again. This is where Lenin became heavily involved in revolutionary politics. He eventually moved to Western Europe. He was a theorist in the Russian Social Democratic Labor Party, a Marxist political party. There were two sides to this party, the Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, and the Mensheviks. The Mensheviks lost out. Lenin really wanted World War I transformed to a worldwide proletariat revolution, where capitalism would be overthrown by socialism. By the way, the word proletariat means the workers or the laborers. In February 1917, the Russian monarchy was ousted and a provisional government was installed. In October 1917, Lenin was instrumental in overthrowing it and installing the Bolsheviks. On a side note, you can thank the Germans for the Russian Revolution. They sent him back to Russia to assist in overthrowing the monarchy, and there was a political reason for this. Tsar Nicholas II of Russia has kept Russia in World War I against the Germans, and kind of a lot of German troops down on the Eastern Front. So the Germans thought if we could overthrow Tsar Nicholas, the Russians will pull out of the war, and that's only one front we'll have to worry about. Pretty astute move, but it didn't work. Lenin had to escape to Finland eventually, but returned in October 1917 and persuaded the revolutionaries they had to lead another armed revolution. So this was a revolution to overthrow a revolution. Well, it worked. Lenin was named the chairman and formed a government, but not without conflict with the other revolutionaries. This was solved by expelling the others from government. Russia was now a one-party state by 1919, and that party was the Communist Party, and they were the people in charge, with Lenin at the helm. What followed was a lot of radical reforms, and I'll just go through a couple because there were several. The first one was the seizure of land and redistribution to the peasants. The old legal system was abolished, replaced by a two-tier justice system. The first was the revolutionary tribunals, and they dealt with counter-revolutionary crimes. And then there was the People's Court, which dealt with civil law, and more mundane criminal matters like assault or maybe break and enter, that sort of thing. Russia formally withdrew from World War I on 3 March 1918. Now, as a note, if you want to see a revolutionary tribunal in action, just watch Batman, The Dark Knight Rises. There's a few scenes that were probably what a revolutionary tribunal looked like. So, will it be exile or death? So, was Lenin the savior of Russia or just another dictator? He established the Cheka, a political police force that was led by Felix Dzerzhinsky, also known as Iron Felix. I call him a rat-faced bastard. They passed a law that saw the establishment of the Red Terror. The Cheka, in short, were the judge, jury, and executioners. Estimates of those executed by the Cheka vary between 10,000 and anywhere up to 140,000. Nobody really knows. There are no records to back any of these numbers. So if you add the two together, go to 150,000 divided by 2, median is 75,000. Camps in another episode. Religions were also cruelly treated. They figure 400, excuse me, I'm getting used to my new lips. Figures from anywhere from 14,000 to 20,000 religious figures were executed by decree. Another execution that may have been sanctioned by Lenin was the execution of the entire Romanov family, Tsar Nicholas II, Empress Alexandra, and their 5 children. If you wish to research that, there's a lot of good stuff online about the Romanovs, and the Romanovs still exist. There is a lineage that goes right down to who is actually the Tsar, who would have been the Tsar today. Perhaps one of Lenin's greatest atrocities was the anti-kulak program. There was a food shortage in Russia in early 1918. So instead of working towards fixing the problem, Lenin blamed the kulaks. For your information, kulaks are people that owned 8 acres of land or more, and most of them were peasants. Lenin accused them of withholding grain to make it more valuable. So Lenin had the Cheka terrorize them. There's so much more we could look at, but I think you get the message here. It wasn't pretty, and his successor, Stalin, carried on with that program. So let's talk about Lenin's health and his death, and they are a bit controversial. He was ill in the last 6 months of 1921. A revolutionary leader is not a great career choice. He had a low tolerance for environmental noise, suffered from insomnia, and had many headaches. At one time, he had contemplated suicide. He may have suffered from a brain affliction, or quite possibly syphilis. He had 2 strokes in 1922, but survived both of them and remained in power. Lenin had a successor in mind, and it wasn't Stalin. He by far preferred Leon Trotsky, an interesting historical figure in his own right. More than on the Stalin-Trotsky rivalry in another episode. Lenin had another stroke in 1923 and lost the ability to speak. In January 1924, he went into a coma and passed away. The official cause of death was reported as an incurable disease of the blood vessels, a brain hemorrhage. I'd like to add a brain hemorrhage can be caused by a number of things. It has been rumored that Stalin may have poisoned Lenin over a period of time. In any case, it was Stalin, the man of steel, who succeeded him as the leader of the USSR. And then the killing really started.